Sheeds, thanks for joining me today again.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
Now, a really unfortunate ending to an otherwise pretty good performance from your boys. How do you reflect on yesterday's game?
Yeah, it was disappointing. We continue to improve significantly, I think. We obviously didn't get the result that we went there to try and get, and it's about a process, and we felt probably after quarter time right up until probably the 22-minute mark, maybe 25-minute mark of the last quarter, we'd controlled a fair bit of the game, and it was always going to be a tight and tough contest, and I think it's number 1 and 2 for contested possessions. There's a bit of rain around, so it's always going to be a highly contested game. And we felt like we planned pretty well for them, and we thought we knew, where we could potentially beat them. And for the majority of the day, we thought we executed that really well. And then I think it comes down to being 2 to 3 goals up in footy is probably the hardest position to be in a lot of the time, and opposition then, try and go hard to win it. And the ball lived in our back line for a little bit, and weight of numbers and some errors hurt us late, which just little moments resulted in the loss.
Yeah, it was very even stats sheet, disposals wise and clearances and inside 50s. Comes down to moments, games like that, and they seem to have the better of it in the last quarter.
Yeah, and I think we've significantly improved from last time we played them. Now we're minus 19 in clearance and I think minus 20 odd in inside 50s. And, clearances I think in the end were minus 4 with a couple late ones they got, and inside 50s were even for the day. And so we gave ourselves enough looks and chances, and we actually had a little bit better scoring percentage going inside 50 than what Sturt did. And so a lot of areas of our game were really strong. Made a couple of fundamental errors which gave them goals as well, which are hard in a tight contest and can be the difference at the end of the day, which it was. Yeah,
it's round 9 now, and you've played in close games against Centrals and Eagles, and the Adelaide game was a bit different but ended up close, and Sturt as well now. Sort of half your games have been close and you've ended up on the wrong side of them. Is there anything you need to do differently in key moments, or just the way the cookie crumbles a bit?
Oh no, we definitely need to do some things differently and keep working on our game and them tight moments around. It's always a challenging one as to, do you throw one behind the ball if you're in control? Do you keep playing your way? And then, if that doesn't work out either, it's, should you throw one behind the ball earlier? So it's all based on outcome. But like I said, it comes down to composure and moments and just training them and understanding roles a little bit more in tough, high-pressure situations, I think. So like you said before, Central's probably a little bit different. They probably got a hold of us late in the game, and I felt like, I think going into half-time it was 3 goals 11 to 4 goals 4, so scoreboard pressure is the best pressure in footy, so that one sort of slipped away. And probably the same with the Eagles. Early we had our chances and a bit of scoreboard pressure, and then our kicking of late has been a bit better for goal, and it's given us a chance to win some games of footy and be in contest. And that was a bit of a focus about converting, and boys been doing lots of practice at goal kicking, and then other areas arise, like holding on in tight games or trying to win in tight games, and that'll be the next part of our process moving forward, but also keep doing what we're doing really well. Like, Sturt haven't lost yet, and they're a good team for a reason, and we were, matched it with them for a large majority of the day.
Yeah, they started really strongly. Lucky to be probably only 15 points down at quarter time. And was there a bit of change in game style or anything to pretty well outplay them in the second, third, and most of the fourth quarter?
Yeah, we're probably finesse with the ball a little bit too early, like early in games when the heat's on. Probably need to play a little bit more territory and surge footy and get the ball in our forward half. And then I think off the back of that, your natural game prevails, and we can look to get the ball off the line and test teams with different things we want to do. But that's all off the back of gaining territory and settling into the game. And I felt early it's always hard when you're on your heels a lot and playing the game inside your D50 a lot and not winning the territory battle. It's hard to change that mindset, and the only way you can do that is winning around the contest. And early in, I think for the first quarter, we were down in contested possessions, down in clearances, and I guess put on the mids a bit to challenge that part of the game, which they did strongly, and which allowed us the ability to get it into our forwards with a bit more direction, and which allowed us to hit the scoreboard.
Yeah. At the midpoint of the season and got the bye now, and you'll probably do a bit of this over the next week and a half or so, but halfway point of the year, 2-7, but probably only played 2 really poor games. How do you reflect and review the first half of the season?
Yeah, probably how you said. I think, Josh, clearly not great from a win-loss record, which we're all judged on, but I think progression throughout the year and, getting the list together more consistently through more games has been better, and that's been able to keep us in more games, and we'll continue to build on that. And it's important for Lowy and Butters and Tommy Donnelly and Luke Sermon and the likes to get consistent games into them, which will make our footy club better, and also Connor Ling and Mitch Nicholas and a few young kids coming in. There hasn't been a lot of continuity with the list throughout the first part of the year, and if we can stay healthy and keep building on that, we'll really front up for our best footy in the back end, and we can really challenge any side on our day.
Yeah, I thought Mitch Nicholas was excellent on Monday.
Yeah, this is a kid he's played 6 games of league footy, so there's lots of growth, and we've talked about it a lot, but the list has changed over by 21, and it's not the same list as what it has been, and there's a bit of a new list coming through and some new young kids, and they need to integrate with some of our great senior players that we've got, and continue to build consistency and playing minutes together. And you look at Sturt, they've been together for a long time. Glenelg have been together for a long time. So all them little things make really good, consistent sides, and that's where we'll keep building and we'll get to very quickly, we believe.
And you must have been happy with the output of Jaden Gale over the last 2 weeks, going back to the reserves and kicking 6 goals from 2 weeks and 4 from 28 on the weekend.
Yeah, well, Gale's had a good start to the season in terms of he played in all our trials and played the first 7 games of league footy, so he played 10 league games of footy. And like we talked about before, progression of any footy club comes from players that have played some development footy and players that have come through the underage groups, and that's what we're after. And Gale's done, he's had a clear focus on what he needs to work on going back, and he's done that tremendously well in the last couple of weeks, and had a really strong game on the weekend, ended up with high 20s and 4 goals, which is good to keep putting pressure with the players above.
Yeah, and what's the plan with the bye? You've got sort of a couple of weeks to prepare for South Adelaide.
Yeah, well, this week the playing group get a week off. Players need a mental and physical freshen up as well, and they'll have a small little program they need to stick to make sure we keep moving, and then we roll into a Sunday game against South Adelaide, which gives us 4 really good sessions again. And I think one thing we've done really consistently over the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks to get our game back up is we've trained really hard, and we'll continue to train really hard, and that gives us the best preparation to play a competitive brand of footy.
Yeah. Excellent, Sheeds. Well, enjoy the bye week, and thanks for chatting to me again.
Thanks, Joshy.
Cheers, mate.